got me? You have the notes from the the day we did this?
4/3 pi r cubed.
Yeah, you gotta memorize it, right? 4/3 pi r cubed. Actually, you don't have to memorize it. Usually they provide that formula for you on the AP exam. Like with that question, there's no formula chart on the AP test. So just put it right there at the end. Okay, but we're hardcore, so I don't put formulas on my test. Okay? I'm more hardcore than the AP test.
No need.
No, you need to know the formulas, right? So let's differentiate. This should be easy, right? dv dt equals 4 pi r squared dr dt, right? When you multiply the 3's cancel out. Okay. So do we know dr dt? Yes. Do we know r?
No.
Oh man. What do we have to do?
There's the surface
We
area.
gotta look for it, right? How do you think we're gonna find it?
The surface area.
Using the surface area formula? Oh, but they didn't give me that one.
But we know it,
We know it
supposedly.
because Mr. Science trained me to know my formulas, right?
Right.
Well, I'm supposed to know it, but
On the time of the test, we're supposed to.
Well, I mean, if you pass geometry, they're saying that you know some of these things,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So you need to know R
No, no, but.
when the surface area is 4 pi, right?
Rocks.
So how do I find the formula? What's the formula for surface area?
that's a good question.
Check your notes.
I'm on my way.
Espérate.
4 starts with a 4,
Okay.
Which one is it on?
then a pi,
4 pi d.
4 pi r squared.
I knew it.
Okay, and we can replace s with what? 4 pi equals 4 pi r squared divided by 4 pi. Very good, Vanessa. So we get 1 is equal to r squared, so therefore r has to equal what?
1.
1. Okay, now we have everything we need, we can plug it in, right? So dv dt is going to equal 4 pi times 1 squared times 2. So that ends up giving us how many pi? 8 pi. And the units for this would be what? Centimeters cubed per second. Why cubed, Alejandra?
Because of the volume.
Because it's volume, very good. Papitas? Did anybody notice anything in the problem that maybe we didn't have to do all this work? Maybe after I wrote this down, maybe you noticed something. It's in the derivative, right? So 4 pi r squared is right there. So technically this right here is the what? The surface area, which we know already is what? 4 pi. So do I even have to find r? No, could I just replace all of this with what? With whatever it was, which was 4 pi, and then multiply by 2 and get 8 pi, right?
Wow.
Okay. Say it again. So 4 pi r squared, when we find the derivative, do you see 4 pi r squared in the derivative?
Yeah.
That means the derivative of the volume is actually the surface area times the rate of change of the radius, right? Okay, so I could replace this with the surface area and not actually have to find out what r is. Right, I can skip that step. I can skip all this work and just plug in 4 pi right there because all of that is the surface area. Cool? So that's the way they present it on the AP test, especially to save time. If it's on a multiple choice question, you need to be able to get through that question quickly, right? So make sure you remember little things like that. That's why we're going over them, okay? So let's try this next one and let's see if we can kind of like skip the finding the R part and jump straight into it. Ready? If air is pumped into a spherical balloon so its volume increases at a rate of 100 cubic centimeters per second, how fast is the radius of the balloon increasing when the surface area is 36 pi? What are we trying to find? dr dt. When? Surface area is 36 pi. Is the surface area always going to be 36 pi?
No.
No, because what's happening?
It's increasing.
Remember the example I did with the balloons? Right? And you told me that that was one of the things that was changing because it was getting bigger and bigger, right? Okay, given dv dt is what? 100 centimeters cubed per second. And is that positive or negative? Positive, because it says the volume what? Increases. We're filling something up. Alright, so what would be the equation we need to use here? The volume of a sphere, which is 4 over 3 pi r cubed. And when we differentiate it, what do we notice is within the surface area formula? Right? So that means we could get all of this right here and replace it with what? With the surface area, which is what? 36 pi. So I'm going to write a note for that, okay? So I'm going to put here, we know, right, that S is equal to 4 pi r squared, right? And S is equal to 36 pi in this particular problem. So all we have to do is substitute it. So we're going to get dv dt, whoops, what's dv dt? 100 is equal to 36 pi dr dt. Now all I have to do is divide by 36 pi. And does 100 over 36 reduce? What goes into both of them? 4? How many 4s into 100?
25,
25. How many 4s into 36?
9.
9 pi. And what will be my units?
Centimeters per
Centimeters per?
second.
Beautiful. You guys are getting really good at this. Really good at the rates, really good at setting up the equations. Just takes practice, okay? You gotta do your homework on a daily basis. It's starting to pile up, okay? I'm giving you few problems because they take a while to do. You need to do them. Cool? Alright. Any questions on the ladder or the sphere problems? They're too easy? Just make sure that you're careful on the ladder problems as to whether they're pushing it or they're pulling it to know what sign to put on the rate, okay? That's where you can make your mistakes. So you have another 6 problems to do today. Okay? So we have a good amount of time. So get started on it. Or finish the other one if you haven't finished it. That way you can check your answers. And that's it for today. Yes.